Do you still feel unsafe in certain situations and it came from an event that happened in your childhood? I'm answering this question this week. Hey friends, Lori Michele here with Choosing to Shine, bringing you another episode of Echoes, my personal memoir, using my reflection cards as basically a talking journal. Gosh, where to start this week? And I did not bring any tissues, but I already feel it coming. Oh gosh. Yeah, I gotta get me some tissues here in the new podcast room because I'm gonna need them. This week has been hell, and I feel like I say that a lot, but this week was extra special. Again, I do not go looking for drama. I do not lie. If somebody asks me something, I tell them the truth. If somebody wants to talk about something, I talk about it with them. And it's just got me thinking a lot about, does everything go wrong because everything goes wrong? You know what I mean? Or, I don't know if that really came across right. Or is it that, I don't know, like I mentioned in one of the last episodes, is it generational karma, past life karma? I don't know. I don't really know if I believe in that. I do believe in, what do you call it? Like genetic trauma, because our DNA holds memories. I do believe in that. So I guess it's not too far of a fetch to say that I believe in past life karma. I just never really thought about it that much. Unfortunately, this is going to be another story that I can't share, and I know I say that a lot. It's fresh. It's a brand new situation. And I'm still processing it, and I'm also very empathetic, so I don't want to talk about something just yet. That one, I'm not ready to talk about, and two, I just want to make sure that I talk about it in the proper way as to not affect the other person that's involved. Yeah, I just feeling kind of under the weather. My back is hurting. Like it was just a lot of stress. The good news is I did start a new therapist this week, and I just didn't feel like I was really getting anything anymore out of the old one, that we had kind of gone as far as we were going to go, I think. But this one's fantastic. She's actually specializes in trauma, and yeah, I feel like I got more out of our introductory 30-minute session than I had probably in 3 weeks, 3-hour sessions with the other lady. And no diss to her, like we found out a lot, and she helped me through a lot. I totally don't mean that as a diss. I just feel like this lady was like answering questions or telling me about myself before I even told her. When I like just met her, like she's just, I think, so good that she just recognized so much stuff up front. And I'll give you guys a little bit of information about that meeting. before I pull a card. First of all, I've already lit my candle because if you were here last week, I'm in a new space and I don't really have a table, right, that I'm filming at, so you can't see my candle. So I always light a candle each week to set an intention of connection and self-love through deep conversations. And as I tell you guys my story, I hope that you can see yourself in some of my struggles, and then at the end I try to give a takeaway if I can come up with one, because nothing is scripted, so it's just whatever comes up. So yeah, we very quickly talked about this thing that just had happened a few days ago, and my dog is scratching. She's always trying to make a nest when I'm filming. So, very distracting. Squirrel. I did tell her that I was diagnosed with avoidant personality disorder. And honestly, up till a couple months ago, I didn't really understand what that meant. I just thought that meant like you avoided conversations with people or hard topics, but that wasn't me. So I was really confused when she first told me about it. But it actually is a lot deeper than that. And if you haven't looked it up, I can leave you guys with some resources, because I found this YouTube channel that talks a lot about that. And it's very eye-opening. So your brain, literally from childhood dysfunction, your brain will not let you see certain things. It's like it's trained to not notice other traumas or other issues going on, right? And that's just a mechanism of being a little child and not understanding your environment and just knowing that you have to live in it and live through it. And so it's your brain protecting yourself. So still learning a lot about that. I'm going to be sharing a lot more with you guys, because 58 years old, I did not know anything about it other than, like I said, I just thought, oh, they're being avoidant. Like that just meant, oh, they don't want to talk about an issue or something like that, right? Or they're ignoring someone because they don't want to talk about a certain subject. That's not it at all, y'all. I got a breakout too. Like I am like, yeah, 58. I still get pimples from stress. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be seeing her every week for a little bit so I can get myself sorted out. Oh gosh. I wanted to share something else with you guys that I want you to look up. I can also put this in the description. Something that she brought to my attention that I had never heard about, that I talked to her about, and that's like a shared psychosis. So when somebody's going through like a mental issue and then you're around them a lot and you talk about that thing like nonstop, that you start to believe what the other person is saying, right? So pretty scary stuff. It kind of reminded me of, I'm kind of a self-help junkie. I have been since I was 20. And it's like you always read like those be successful books about, what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-development books, like be careful who you hang around. Who are you spending your time with? Who do you want to be like? Mentors, that kind of thing. But I had never heard of that before, and that was a little frightening. So yeah, just still processing a lot of things. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. So yeah, that's my life, y'all. I stay at home. I'm a hermit. I do not go looking for trouble. I do not go looking for drama, and it always finds me, and I'm not sure why. I've heard so many different things. You're an old soul, so you got to live all your karma up front. Or is it because of what I talked about last week? Is it that I was a really bad feral child, but I didn't know any better? That was who I grew up with, right? So when I moved out of the house on my 18th birthday, I made a decision that I was going to be a good person, and I was going to try to I grew up with a pathological liar, and I made a decision that I would not tell any lies. Now, it took me a couple years to get there, right? Because it was so ingrained in me that I would just catch myself saying things. But probably by the time I was 25, I was like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to have kids and be a liar. I don't want them to ever look at me and question what's not the truth. And I went so far as to tell them that Santa wasn't real, the Tooth Fairy wasn't real, the Easter Bunny wasn't real, but we're still going to play the game. But just please don't tell any other children, because you'll break their hearts, right? That's up to their families to tell them. So that's how honest that I am and was. And I feel like I'm probably the most honest person that I know of. And I'm so misunderstood. And I've felt that way my whole life. Like I just feel like a black sheep. I know there's many other of you guys out there that feel like that. I'm just kind of going through it. I don't mean to be dark and heavy, but it's been it's been a dark and heavy week. So I'm going to change the subject. And we are going to pull a card, and hopefully it's something light. Because I don't know if I can handle a deep, deep question this week. Let's see what we get. All right, universe, be nice. Oh my God, you guys. I'm really thinking about doing a private group so I can share some of these things that I know other people won't be involved in. Because like I said, there are many people, I just don't, and I don't want it to be like I'm talking about people. These are my experiences, like I'm talking about the things that I'm struggling with. And maybe we can make like a little group where, we can talk about our struggles in private and not, out in the public. Let me know if you guys are interested in something like that. Let's see. I'm kind of scared. Ooh. Oh man, I feel like I pulled this card a couple days ago. What's an event that completely changed how you see your life? The other side says, have you ever had a conversation or event that completely changed your life? Oh boy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got this a couple weeks ago. So, I have to say, it was this week. And I'm just not ready to talk about that yet. So, I'm going to skip that one. Yeah. I can't think of anything else in the past right now. Well, let me think about that. Okay. I got one. So I was about 12, maybe 11 or 12. We were at my Granny's house, and they were having a poker game. Most of my stories revolve around either being by myself or being at a poker game, because that's what we did, like 2 to 4 days a week. So until I was older and I could stay home. Well, I mean, she left me home sometimes. I don't know why I went. Oh, I know why I went. She had a big, there was a big, like a river down the road. So I brought some fishing stuff and I wanted to go fishing, which I did. And I caught a little eel, and this guy helped me get the eel off the hook, because I was a pretty good fisherman. I knew how to clean my fish and all that. My daddy taught me, but I didn't know how to handle an eel. I didn't have a towel. I didn't have any gloves. I wasn't sure I was going to grab this thing, get him off, get him back in the water. So this guy helped, and he's like, oh, yeah, like I saw, you and a bunch of friends hanging around over at your granny's house. I guess he lived a couple houses down. And I didn't really like being there with him on the dock by myself. And it was kind of like, it was like in a neighborhood. So, there wasn't like, you couldn't see us, right? Because you had to walk down the dock, and it was like all these trees and bushes and stuff. So I thanked him for getting the eel off. And excuse me, I think I'm going to sneeze. And went back to Granny's house. My brother was there, and there was like 2 or 3 kids from the neighborhood who came over. And she had just moved into this house. It was pretty new. And it was like an older house that was like built up on bricks. So you could see underneath, and there was like a lot of stuff under there. And one of the kids was like, hey, what's all that stuff under there? I'm like, I don't know. She just moved in, and I don't know what it is. Let's go check it out. Because I was used to crawling under houses, because my mom used to ask me to do it all the time, because she collected old bottles. And a lot of times, for some reason, we would find a lot of bottles. I mean, now we're talking, way back in the early 70s. It would just be like all these old bottles under the houses. And we found like this ink kit, and it was like pretty large. I don't know what it was used for. Maybe some kind of screen printing or something. I'm not sure, but they all had like different inks. And then they had like squirter bottles with little, like tips on them to use on something. So we're just sitting around, we're looking at all this stuff. We're like, what do you think, this is used for? Well, the guy from the fishing dock came down, or acted like he was walking, and came over, and he's like, what'd you kids find? And we're like, oh, we found these, little ink things. And he got like, I was sitting on the back of my mom's car. He got like really close to me. He's like, hey, like, what'd you find? Like, just uncomfortable. And I was pretty good with vibes. And I said, hey, buddy, back off. I was a pretty direct kid. I was pretty tough because, feral child. He's like, don't tell me what to do. And he kind of pushed me, on my shoulder like that. And then, so I had that ink bottle, and so I squirted it like right in his face. And he's like, oh, like, I'm going to go home and call the cops. And so kind of the same story as last time, me always getting in trouble with the police, and then my mom's poker game has to be broken up, right? So I go in, I tell her what happened. Hey, Mom, so sorry once again, but this creep was trying to get in my space. I feel like he was trying to do something, and I squirted him with the zinc bottle that I found under the house, and He says he's going to call the police, so we should just go ahead and leave. She's like, oh no, we're not leaving. You're going to go down there and apologize. I'm like, I'm not going down there. That man wanted to do something to me. I'm not going down there. She's like, well, I'll drive you down there and you will go in there. I'm like, no, I won't. No, I will not. He means to do me harm. I am not going to go in there. And I think she said something like, well, I'll just bring you down there and wait for the cops or something to get them away from the house. I don't remember, because I was like hysterically crying at this point, because I really thought she was going to make me like go in this man's house. So we drive down there. I think it was like 3 houses down, but it was dark by this time. So we drive down there and we pull into the driveway, and you can see him pacing back and forth. There was like this real thin like slit in the curtain, so you could see him. He's like pacing frantically, and he's in a towel, a little tiny towel around his waist, and that was it. And I was like, you see that? I'm telling you, that man is going to do me harm. I will not go in that house. You can take me to the police station. I will not go into that house. And she's like, oh, yeah, like I see now. And I said, well, I've been trying to tell you for 30 minutes. So that kind of changed my relationship with my mother, because I think I was right at that age, right, with teenage years and starting to be independent. And basically, I connected the thoughts that she cared more about the poker game than my safety. So I became very rebellious after that. I don't want to keep saying I was a bad kid, because I was just an unsupervised child who didn't have any good role models. So, Miss Chloe, she keeps scratching. There we go. She can't get comfortable. I changed the blanket out last week. I thought maybe she didn't like the blanket, but maybe the new couch is just not comfy enough. It's not gushy. It's kind of firm. It's traditional. Oh, third world problems, Chloe. So yeah, after that, our relationship really changed. There was, I guess, no trust there, and I knew to trust my instincts more too, until I grew up and got married, and again, I don't want to talk bad about people in public, but when you're with someone for 33 years and you're pretty sure they're a narcissist, there are very slight manipulations that happen over time that you don't even know. So basically, I moved out of my mother's house, which I'm pretty sure was a narcissist, and moved straight into another narcissistic home. So, and I didn't even know what that word meant until a couple years ago. And the only way that I did know that was because my someone close to me was going through the same thing, and she was like, hey, there's a lot of red flags here. And I was like, what? No, like, and that was after I divorced him. I didn't even divorce him for that. I divorced him for drinking. So yeah, just so many things that I've learned about myself in the last 5 years. And honestly, like I just spend almost every day either I watch something on YouTube that's going to be beneficial for me. I love to watch, and tell me what you guys are watching this week. But this week I watched Love is Blind. Also love that show because you really get to peer into people's psyches, right? That's what that whole show is about. People's traumas and that come out when they're vulnerable and when they're scared and all that stuff. And then I also watched the first episode of Survivor 50. Huge Survivor fan. I've watched it every single season. My aunt got me into it and love it for the same reason. Like the people who are good at that game really know how to work with different people's personalities and to make them feel comfortable into giving them what they want, basically. So just very, very interesting. And other than that, like I'm in like a few classes, I guess you could say, to better myself. So not only do I go to therapy, I'm watching, shows that I can wrap my head around the psychology of it. Yeah, so I guess that's my hobby. I've always been interested in the psychology of things. And like I've said before, why people turn out the way they turn out. Sorry, I got distracted. It's the sun is setting and a bat just flew by the window. I knew this was going to be a problem. I should shut the blinds next time. But yeah, it's nice seeing the nature back here. So yeah, just why people are the way they are, why you can have two people grow up in the same exact household, like me and my brother, and turn out totally different. And that's one of the things I cannot talk about right now. I'd love to, though. You guys are going to flip out when I tell you about that one. You will not believe it. Well, my little candle looks like it's about halfway down. So I'm assuming that means it's been about 30 minutes and I don't want to keep just rambling here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see, takeaways. Trust your instincts. Watch who you're hanging around. Don't get too caught up in other people's issues and trying to be a fixer. I mentioned that on my Instagram channel about being a fixer. I'm a big fixer, and I believe that has honestly caused more damage now that I'm finding more about that. So lots more to come. I'll have an hour-long session with my therapist. I'll have a lot more to share with you guys. Lots going on. I just stay at home in my bubble, but drama finds me. And also, I did want to say, last week I talked a lot about a lot of the bad things I did as a child. And I know that a lot of people don't change. Like they just kind of keep that same personality going. But it's like I never saw myself as a person that would live in dysfunction. And maybe that was the difference. But I had to do what I needed to do and blow off steam while I was still living at home. So after I moved out, hi, baby, my cat's here. She hurt her little leg, you guys. I might have to take her to the vet. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to get better because she does not do well in the car. baby. And, say a little prayer for my Sagwa. I posted a picture of her on the YouTube posts if you guys want to see her. She's such a pretty girl. She was trying to find a way to jump up here, but I don't think there's enough room. Yeah. Now she's making biscuits. I love my pets. They give me so much joy. Journaling, follow your intuition. Be careful who you're hanging out with. Do a lot of self-reflection. Find those things that are triggering you and find out what they're actually about. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here again. And yeah, it's another crazy week here in my house. Love to all. Prayers accepted and given. See you next week.